This tape isn't going to be so much a stick fighting tape as much as it's going to be teaching you how to fight with a stick. There's a big difference. Too many people put too much of an emotional emphasis on the weapons they're carrying. Also, in the traditional sense of the word, stick fighting kind of gives you a certain perception of the Kali fighter stick with the sticks and the fancy stuff. I don't teach any of that really, so if this is what you were expecting, you purchased the wrong tape. But what I do teach is using the stick as an improvised weapon. Obviously, we don't walk around carrying sticks in modern day North America, so it's not exactly a choice weapon. But it could be used as an improvised weapon. You could possibly break an antenna off a car and use it as a blunt object. You may find a broomstick. You may find a broken tree branch, whatever. You got to also look at the aspect of when would you actually be using a stick in a fight, in a real fight. Ideally speaking, it's very rare situation where you end up facing an opponent with a stick, or if you end up with a stick yourself. But if you do, situations I can think of are as follows. Basically, your opponent has a weapon of his own, a knife. A stick would be a good equalizer. Multiple attacker situation. You find one, you pick it up, you use it against multiple attackers again as an equalizer. Biggest mistake people make, as I was saying just a few seconds ago, is that they put an emotional emphasis on the weapon itself. And what happened is we were doing actually a drill here, and an excellent example of this is one of my guys was stick fighting against 3 guys. And what happened is he's going at it, he's knocking guys around. At one point, one guy knocked the stick out of his hand, and so the stick flew out of his hand, and the very first reaction he was, as the stick fell out of his hand, is he looked at the stick, and then he went for it immediately. And this caused the other 3 attackers to rush him instantly and just beat the crap out of him. So basically, what you want to do is you want to apply, as mentioned in my other tapes, and I don't want to rehash material, and there's pros and cons to this, because people can look at it as, oh, he's rehashing stuff from his old tapes, or if I don't, oh, he's forcing us to buy other tapes, to, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a catch-22, folks, but I don't like to rehash material. So ideally, what you want to use is you want to use our 5 principles of physical retaliation with the stick. The stick is nothing but an extension of your body already. So the same way you would apply your hands, your natural tools, you apply it to the weapon that you're using, whether it be a knife or a stick or anything else for that matter. So, for example, if I do end up with a stick in my hand and I am facing an opponent, basically, Nick, can I use you? This is Nick the Greek. So, he's dirty. He tells everyone that. So, okay, so basically, when you're using a stick, 5 principles of physical retaliation. Number 1, don't lead with your weapon. If I'm leading with the stick and I'm doing this, my opponent can grab it too easily. He can also parry it and bypass it and come in on me. So you always want to keep the weapon close to you. So if you are fighting with the stick, the best position we found it to be is right next to your shoulder here with your other hand leading. Okay? However, I mean, whatever your stance dictates, it could be this, whatever. But you don't want to lead with the stick. So you're using your natural tools to bridge the gap if you're going to use the stick to hit the guy. The targets you want to hit at are usually, well, obviously a lot of people headhunt. The head is a great target to hit, but it's also one of the most expected targets to hit. Good targets are the hands. Okay, you want to destroy the hands, fingers, metacarpals, knuckles. You want to go for shins, because these are soft areas or areas that have a lot of nerve clusters, pain clusters. So if I am using the stick and I am fighting over here, if my opponent is obviously my opponent will, if he's intelligent, not come in on me, because obviously I'm the person with the weapon. If I do have the stick, I want to use my other tools and just use very short snapping shots with the stick. I don't want to telegraph my intention. Although most fights are emotionally fueled by anger or fear or rage or so on and so forth, we don't want to end up doing things like this and like this. It's too easily bypassed, telegraphs. Don't telegraph your intention and economize on motion. So basically, stand over here for a second. So basically, if I do have the stick, I want to use my tools and I want to use the stick as short snapping shots. So if I can hit here, if I can hit here, if I can hit up here. I can also switch it around by doing this. If I'm going to, aim for a finger jab or a low kick here, I can, swing over this way, come across here. Okay? But I always keep my stick close to my body, and I don't lead with it, and I don't do this kind of stuff, because this is too easily interceptable. So the stick stays very close to your body. Now you can also use the stick in close quarter situations, but not as, a lot of people, you witness it and you see it in stick fighting classes. Guys get into a clinch position and they're trying to do stuff like this. And this stuff doesn't work. You don't have enough leverage to hurt somebody doing this kind of stuff. So what I would want to do is, if I still have the stick, and ideally speaking, I would at this point probably would want to drop the stick and not use it if I get to this range. But if I do want to use it, if I do want to cause damage, remember, it's nothing but a tool. Use it when it's called upon, when it's necessary. So I don't want to start doing this kind of stuff. He's got too much of a tactile sense, and it's not actually going to hurt him. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hit him here, but you just jam me and don't let me do it, right? So if I'm doing this, I'm actually trying to do hard, but I'm not landing my shot, right? But if I'm holding the stick here and he's forcing against me, if I use the butt of the stick and I just apply it on his arm and I just dig in here, I know that this hurts. Okay, and I don't want to do it too hard because I don't want to hurt Nick, but you jam it into here. I use the butt of the stick, I can just shorten the handle a bit and just smack it into the side of his neck. Use it as a pressure point thing. If I'm clinched here, I'll use the butt of it just to jam it into his neck like so. If I can use it and shorten it just to smack him in the back of the head this way, or just twist it around, just apply pressure and piss the guy off. Now what happens most of the time, in most situations, most cases, is your opponent will probably grab the stick, and that's fine. If he does, and he grabs the stick, don't get into this kind of shit, where you're struggling for the stick. Forget about it. If we shift across here, my hand is over here. I forget about this. It's taken away from me, I don't need it anymore. I'll get right into close quarter tools. This is where I'll grab his ear and rip it off, or I'll stick my thumb into his eye, or I'll start to shred him at this point. Okay? So, some basic stuff you can do with the stick and applying the 5 principles of economy of physical retaliation is basic tool and target development, where you play with your partner. You just test the stuff out. But it's important that, one, your partner, who's playing the role of the bad guy, reacts as realistically as possible. So what we're using here is, this one's taped up, but to give you an idea, they're bamboo sticks. Inexpensive, most hardware stores have them. They're hollow, so if you do end up hitting somebody really hard with it, right now it's going to hurt because there's no emotion, there's no energy. But if we were actually sparring or fighting or simulating, and I cracked them, yes, it would hurt him, but this is just surface pain, okay? Because it doesn't penetrate. It's too light and it's hollow. So what it would do is it would cause a surface pain, a little bit of a welt, and he'd be fine in half an hour later. So, basic tool and target development, what you want to do is look at how your opponent is standing. Keep the stick close to you. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of, stand over here again. I'm looking at it from the perspective of, what can I do to him from here and what can he do to me from here? So basic tool and target development. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, this is a situation, for whatever reason I ended up with a stick in my hand and my opponent's, he's standing there. You could do it one of two ways. He can lunge at me like a sucker punch fashion or a tackle or whatever, and I can start using the stick. But we work at about medium slow speed, just so that you can program proper tool and target development. However, at every point that your partner comes in with you and does this, you want to kind of like freeze there, okay? And at the same time, keep the energy real. I'll explain this as we go along. So if I'm doing this, and let's say Nick was going to come in with whatever he wants. So he comes in with something, I jam his shot, and I extend my stick out, and I would, first tool I would use, first thing is a stick right to his face. I'd smack the stick across here. I see Nick is reacting realistically here. Okay? Now, this wouldn't cause a tremendous amount of damage, but it would cause a flinch response. But I don't necessarily have to use the stick the entire time. Realistically speaking, I would use other tools here. So if we were actually here and I smacked him across the head with a stick, I would start to get into clawing into his eyes or ripping into his ear, and I'd start to clinch really close. Okay? But if you want to work strictly stick to tool and target develop, then I got to look at, well, what can I do from here? I can slide the stick low, and all I would do is I would raise the stick upwards here. So I'm going to move my hand so you can see what I'm doing. And I would raise the stick upwards in this fashion, like so. Okay, so come back a second. So if I smack them here, I raise up, boom, and I nail them here. And you step in again and nail them right across the face this time with the upper part of the stick. Again, not a lot of damage, but definitely a lot of flinching. Okay? So then I could take the stick and smack it across his head here. But at the same time, my opponent would be reacting. So what would Nick be doing here? So if I smack you across here and I up the stick up this way. So now he's reacting, right? Keep going. Give me a bit more energy. Okay? So react a bit more. Okay? So now we're in this position. So what would I do? Obviously, there's the knee. Obviously, there's the palm. There's a throat crush. There's an eye gouge. There's all this kind of stuff. But how can I also use the stick? Okay? I don't have much power here and I don't have much power here. But what I could do is just by clinching him this way, I'm just going to tap him in the throat and push with the stick a little bit. So if I just did this, but I added a bit more pressure, like do you feel this? Okay? Slightly, but it's not a lot. But if I apply the stick over here on my neck, and I apply it on his neck, okay? So you see the stick over here on my neck, and it's on his neck here. Now if I start to push this way, I know that I've got enough leverage to hurt him. Okay? So I'm just tool and target development. And you do trial and error. You ask your partner, do you feel this? Yeah. Okay, he feels it, so it works. Okay? So then what else can I do? Can I dig it into his body this way? Yes, do you feel that? Yeah. Okay? Can I continuously apply it to his neck here? Yes. Now we can get into the knee and this, and so on and so forth. You just play around with this stuff. Different ways you can use the stick outside of the range of here, on the inside. The butt, okay? You can use it to dig it into the person's ribs, into the person's neck, into the person's ear, into like really soft targets and tissue. The arms are good areas also. You can end up in a position where he's doing this, he's trying to get into you, rather than doing this kind of stuff here because there's not enough leverage. Again, I just use the butt and I dig it into his tricep right away. So you can also hit and hammer this way. So the stick could be used in a variety of ways. Now this is all also fine and dandy, but a lot of this stuff is also fine motor skill oriented. And in reality, when somebody's charging in at you, you're not going to have the sense of spirit or the state of mind to actually pull off a lot of this stuff. So why, you may be asking, am I teaching it? It's just to give you access to tool and target development to understand how you can use the actual tool. So if it is present, you take it. If it's not present, you don't. You do whatever else that presents itself, moment to moment. So the idea is to be able to spontaneously improvise based on what's occurring at hand. Okay? This is just, again, basic stuff. You could do it from the point where we're working from the outside and we're standing at about, I'm just going to separate, can you catch both of us? Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm working over here and I got the stick across my body this way. And I'm looking at it, well, I got to make my move here, so what can I do? Again, you can't telegraph. If I start to do this, he's going to move. But if I just crack across his hand right here, chances are I'll hit him, especially if I move fast enough. So all it is actually a wrist motion, and just like anything else, a jab or a kick, the intended tool moves first, priority. The stick will start to move before anything else. So as my stick starts to move this way, now my body can follow to add so that I don't telegraph. So if I was just standing here, put on the glove for a second. So if I was just standing here and I wanted to hit him in the hand, don't let me hit you in the hand, okay? So if I'm doing this, if I telegraph and I do this, he's going to move out of the way. So if I do any kind of motion prior to it, if my body starts to do this, if my hand starts to do that, if I do anything, he's going to move because he's going to flinch. Your partner will not let you in. But if I move the stick first, don't let me hit you. If I just do this, I know that I'll land my shot. It's just a quick shot, you see? Now, without the glove and with an actual broomstick or a branch or something thicker, this would really cause a lot of pain in the hand. Might even sprain the finger, crack it, maybe break it, maybe not. But it will definitely cause your opponent to do this with his hand. Okay? So if I'm standing here and I go, okay, we're fighting, he's threatening me, he's coming in, I crack him in the hand right away. Then you want to go low line. So technically when you strike, you want to strike high and low, just to get the nervous system shocking, going up, going down, going up, going down. You just playing with the guy like a seesaw. So by cracking him here, you might want to go low right away. Just come across the leg. Okay? So all I'm doing again is the stick will start to move, and the body will continuously follow, and I'll hit him in the leg right away. Maybe come back right away. And then I step back. Long range weapon, I keep a long range distance. If my opponent wants to throw a kick or whatever, I will try to not, just smack the kick also. So if he's throwing something, any kind of kick, I'll just crack the leg right away. Okay? This will be a distraction, much like knife fighting. If I'm using a knife in the rear hand, I use the lead hand as a distraction, whether to charge the guy and stab or to charge the guy and stab. So similar here with the stick. So I'm working this way. I might be giving him this to look at. He might even be throwing a jab, a low line kick, and then crack the hand, crack the knee. Okay? If my opponent clinches, if I'm here and he comes in right away, and I missed and he clinches and he grabs me, you end up in this kind of thing. Don't get into this stuff. You're not going to cause much pain. Okay? I would either let go of the stick or I'd use the butt of it to crack right into his arm and just pressure point it and just dig it in. It's not a debilitating tactic, but I know that if I do this, I know that it's hurting him right now. And that leaves me open to several other types of strikes and stuff. Okay? So I got access to other tools. All you're really looking at it is as an equalizer. It's how can I use this to my benefit? So I don't want to dance around, I don't want to prance around, I'm not putting on a show for the guy. I want to go home tonight. He's fucking with me. For whatever reason, I managed to pick up a stick, or I'm a ninja. No, okay. So, and then I want to use it against my opponent. Okay? Other factors. Knife against stick. Okay? Your opponent pulled out a knife. You picked up a stick. Technically, the knife is a more dangerous weapon, but you've got an advantage because you're at a range here. Okay? So I'm maintaining a distance between me and my opponent. I don't want to let him come in. I want to demotivate him from actually trying to stab me or to lunge in on me and cut me. Now technically, obviously, if he started raging in on me, if I had the distance, your footwork comes into play, your training comes into play, so on and so forth. I don't want to turn this into a footwork drill. But if I've got the stick here, put on the gloves for a second. If I've got the stick and he's got the knife, go wide angle, Colin. Okay? So we're going to be moving around. If I've got the stick and he's got the knife, I want to keep him at a distance. I want to take away his motivation. I don't want to let him rush me and stab me. So what I want you to do is actually try to, fucking stab me, cut me, slash me, okay? However you want. Oh yeah, toss the helmet, please. This one here. Okay. So what I want to do is keep my opponent at bay. He's got the knife, he wants to slash. Even if he's leading with his hand, he's got the backhand slasher, stabber tactic, whatever, makes no difference. I keep him at a distance with this, but I do not keep it forward. I will not give him the opportunity to grab my stick or to parry the stick out of the way to enter. That would be critical. So I keep the stick out here, and he's trying to come in on me. Now, I'm just cracking him across here. Anytime he wants to make a move, I'll throw a shot. Now, as you can see, I'm hammering in the hands. See, I know that hurt. Now look, he's not motivated anymore. He doesn't want to come in anymore. Because this hurts. And this, again, hollow stick, gloves, headgear. Imagine we didn't have this, right? So the guy's coming up at you, he shoves you, and you see the stick's on the floor, you bent over, you picked it up, he pulled out his knife, and it's a face-off. And he's going, motherfucker, I'm going to kill you. So you want to keep him at a distance with the stick close to your body. Again, if I was to switch, and watch the difference, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do, but still come in and stab me, okay? Anytime you want. So if I'm doing this kind of stuff, there's a danger now. Look at that. I'm leading with the stick. Don't want to lead. Keep the stick close. piss him off. Make your opponent make the mistake. Wait. It's a critical situation, but you want to wait. Let him make his move. So I keep it close, and I'll just stand here, stand my ground. He moves, I counter. I don't want to come in, because if I come in, I offer him opportunity. Okay? He might be pulling the old attack by drawing tactic. So if I'm here, and I fuck up, if I do this, now he starts to come in. So I would rather have him make the move to come in, and as he starts to come in, I crack him. I start to hit him. Okay? And again, stick close to the body. So this is a drill you can do just to test it out. The good thing about doing this stuff also is that, and this has been said before, the stick moves a lot faster than the hand. So does the knife technically, because it's an extension of the body. So these drills will also invoke strategic implementation, footwork, conditioning, so on and so forth. It'll also work your reflexes because this moves really fast by your face. Okay? So it's a good idea to incorporate it into your training if you want to be holistic fighters. It could be looked at two different ways. One, street, obviously, everything I'm talking about now. So 2, stick against stick. Unlikely situation, stick against knife. Not very common, but it's just another level to add to your toolbox, to your training, to make you a more complete and holistic fighter. So you just play around with the stuff where anytime, and it's important again, no consent. So you instruct your partner. Your goal is to stab me, rush me, kill me, just you know what I'm saying? Okay? Now, also he's coming in as just your average street punk with a knife. Obviously he's not Dan Inosanto with a knife. So that's a completely different ballgame. If you're facing a really experienced knife fighter, he wouldn't be leading with his knife. He wouldn't have made it known. You won't know the guy's got a knife. He's an expert. You won't know he's got a knife until it's sticking into you. It's that simple. If somebody wants you dead, you're going to die. There's no two ways about it. So I've got the stick. He's got the knife. We're squaring off. I keep my distance. I'm just outside of kicking range. I can't really reach him with a kick. I just stay outside. I try to motivate him to try to come in. Now, at any time he comes in, I want to throw a really short shot. Again, I'm aiming for legs, I'm aiming for hands, I'm aiming for face, head, facial area, neck area, so on and so forth. The rest of the body, it's not really going to hurt. If I hit him here, it'll sting him, but it's not going to hurt unless you got something really heavy like a bat or a crowbar. But if you're working with something that heavy, then mobility is different, because it'll throw your balance off slightly. Okay? So we play around. Motivation is gone. How about we go home, man? Let's call it a night. Had an interrupt. Dude, you want my wallet? So again, he's not entering my space. I would have busted his hand in his face several times here. The dynamics would change entirely if he wasn't wearing a helmet. It's a bit of overkill that's happening here. You got to understand that. It's a drill. If he actually wasn't wearing the helmet, and we're standing here, and he's going, motherfucker, blah, blah, and I go, crack, and I hit him right across the face with that stick, he's not going to be doing this. Okay? So chances are, if I actually, imagine this for a second. You're not wearing the helmet. Now I got a stick, and it's actually a broomstick and not a, even, you know what? Even if it was this stick and he's not wearing the helmet, okay? So if I cracked him here and I actually landed the shot, what do you think your reaction would be? This is probably what would be happening. So I would probably be all over this shit, right? And then I'm out. I wouldn't stick around. Now you can also play with this and challenge yourselves where you shorten the environment. You close it in a little bit. So if we were to do that, if we were to use these dead zebra skipping ropes, I think you're going to help me out. Okay? If we just like form some kind of a square on the floor here. This is Lee. Lee weights. Right, so we just, shorten the area a little bit, make like a bit of a square. Give me another rope, Lee.
You can't come so close, I won't be able to get much.
That's okay. It's just a drill point. Now, obviously, if you're going to go out and buy skipping ropes, these are the worst kind. But say we were to play around in this area. This changes things a little bit because it gives actually a bit of an advantage to the knife fighter. You're at closer range. So now you have to be a little bit more aggressive with your tactics. You can't, waiting around too much is not an option. You nail the guy, you got to capitalize. I can't exit this space. Now look at how close we are. This is referred to now as, we refer to this as the traffic range. Traffic range is where you're at a close quarter situation or you're close enough to your opponent that if any type of tool is used, it will land. Okay? So obviously I can use the stick, I can use my foot, I can even finger jab him at this distance. He can stab me, okay? He can cut me, he can punch me in the face here. Okay, he can land stuff. So this is traffic range. Quick tip, regardless of what kind of fight you're in, whether it's sparring, scenario, replication, doesn't matter. If you're in traffic range, you got to be doing something. You cannot just wait. You've got to take the offensive right away. Get your opponent thinking. You got to switch the predator-prey mentality here. So what I want to do is I want to take control of this situation. So if for whatever reason I pick up the stick, he just pulled his knife out, and we're like, holy fuck, we're at traffic range, I've got to be doing something. Because this forces a different psychology. This is going to force him to actually clinch me probably, because I mean, what's your feeling here? What do you want to do? You want to get in, because you're like, yeah, you want to charge, I want to charge. Everything changes. So now I've got the stick. But now this is where knife defense also starts to come into play, and it becomes critical and crucial that you do not emotionally link yourself to the weapon too much. Because if you do, this thing is going to be coming in on you. Okay? So if I do have the stick and he's at this distance, and somebody yelled go. Go. See, I'm taking control here. I can't let him in. I don't want to let him in. Because the second he moves, it's lethal. He's got the knife, I've got the stick. So I can't give him an instant to breathe now. High, low, I got him dancing. Fell off the roof. Now we're at a bit of a longer range and a little bit safer. I've taken away his motivation right away. Okay? Now obviously also all I'm doing, are you okay, Nick?
Yeah, fine.
I know this fucking hurts, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
But what I'm not doing also, folks, keeping in mind is I'm just solely working stick here. I would also be working other things. I'd be using my legs. I'd be using my hands a little bit more. I'd be using my spit. I'd be doing anything to distract this guy because he's got this, okay? So if I was in closed area, obviously first thing, second somebody said go, I have to start taking care of the situation, nailing the guy. Keep the stick close, whack him, take away his motivation. Spit, throw a low line kick. Anything to distract, okay? Variety of other drills you can do to challenge yourself as well. Keep closing off the area. Here's one. Max out your hand-eye coordination and get your cardio going really fast. So if I was to just stand here and do, just to challenge myself, I let my partner rest, but I'll crank out, 30 Hindu squats, full speed, right? And so the second I'm done, I pick up the stick and it's on. So I do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I just keep it going till 30. And once my cardio is up and I'm like wired, I pick up the stick, and now he comes right away. And, it's a whole different story. And I just got nicked across the chest, but at the same time, I'm trying to explain. So your heart's going, your heart's racing, things get different. Play around with the stuff. Add dialogue. He's got the stick, he's got the knife. If he started verbally assaulting me at the same time, that would change things a bit. Because my brain will receive that information, and I got to do something with it. Now, you might get pissed, you might get angry, you might get scared, but it's going to invoke an emotional aspect of you. And behaviorally speaking, your behavioral arsenal is very much linked to your physical arsenal. How you emotionally feel, think, so on and so forth will have an aspect, and it will have will have an impact on how you react physically. Okay? So if we add that to that, and now we go, somebody say go, and you just fucking swears and all that shit.
Go.
Motherfucking son! Think I'll fucking cut you up, bitch! Come on! You wanna fuck with me? I'll fucking kill you! Come on! I'll fucking cut you up, bitch! You wanna fuck with me?
I know that hurt. So I'm also taking away
Not much motivation there,
his motivation, but not only that, by crouching down so low, this takes away a lot of angles that your opponent may be used to. Now he's coming in. If I'm just doing this here, he's got a lot more targets. He can swing at my throat. He can swing at my arms. Even I can get into this kind of stuff. But by being low, it makes it a lot harder because I'm crouched low here. So it's like there's not many targets. Now the position I'm in is the rear heel is off the floor to give me that spring-like action. I'm attacking low and I'm attacking high. He has no clue which way it's coming. I'm not telegraphing, and I'm also fucking with him because as I dip low here, I might be looking here and I might have shot 1 or 2 strikes to the legs, and as I might dip low and then come up really fast. And there's no way, it's very, very difficult to stop that, right? So technically, stick against knife, you've got the advantage if you're properly trained. Now, again, conditioning is a huge part of this, folks. We can't stress this enough. There's a big difference between self-defense, personal protection, and hand-to-hand combat. This becomes a hand-to-hand combat situation. This is crucial fuck-ups occurred. If you're facing yourself, if you're in a situation where you're facing a guy who's got a knife who wants to come and kill you, and you've got your stick out, you fucked up in many different areas. But you got to also look at it from the perspective, what if this was what's that chimney tool? The fireplace tool, the poker. What's it called? Is that a poker? It's a big steel thing with a pick, right? And you just poke the wood. This sociopath broke into your house. He's got a knife. He's threatening you at knife point. He wasn't expecting to find anybody home. He does. He pulls a knife out. You happen to be in your living room. You have a fireplace. You would pull out the poker, and now you're in this situation. So now it becomes it's a self-defense situation, but it's also a bit of hand-to-hand combat. And unfortunately, if you don't have the wind, if you don't have the strength, if you don't have the conditioning, that does play against you. There's a big myth in the martial arts world, and I don't think it's as perpetrated today as it was maybe a decade ago or even up to 5 years ago, that size and strength doesn't matter in a fight. Only skill. That's not true. That is so not true. Size, strength, muscular, emotional, cardiovascular endurance is like bullets in a gun. The more you have of it, the more you can pull the trigger. The less you have, you have a nice gun, but no ammunition. So conditioning is your ammunition. Your body is the instrument. Conditioning is what allows your instrument to perform. Without it, you could be up Schitt's Creek. You know, this guy could be a lunatic, high on drugs, and I could have cracked him like as much as I cracked Nick now with a hollow stick and the equipment. If this was a solid stick, he had no equipment, but he was really high on some kind of drug, whatever, and he may not be feeling all this pain. He might, he may be enraged and adrenaline going. He might be just like, fuck that, and and just come in on you. And if I'm not conditioned, then I'm up shit's creek. So it's crucial. And a lot of we do a lot of the Hindu squats and stuff like that. Hindu squat is a very, very important tool to add to your combative training. Not because it's good for conditioning and it's good for your heart and so on and so forth, but a lot of people look at it and go, well, where's the functionality in that, aside from building your leg strength? The functionality is what I just did. You do so many Hindu squats. I'm squatting really down low here, and I'm using my stick, and I can still maneuver and work. And that gives me a lot of spring action to step up and nail the guy if I need to, because you just, you do so many of these. And so it develops ballistic explosion in your legs, in your footwork, in your strength, your conditioning. It gives you a lot more bullets in your gun, basically, right? So it's definitely an aspect that cannot be dismissed. You just do this drill. I mean, we just did it for like, a couple of minutes at a time here, and although also I'm talking, I'm a little bit winded. I'm sweating right now. So it's almost like a workout. So on its own, this is a good method of sparring. But there's many, many other aspects, folks. This is just, we're isolating something here. It's very important to understand, and the majority of people don't understand, is that what happened before and what are the legalities, moral issues, ethical issues, and how did it get to this point? How did it get to the point where the guy's got a knife and I've got the stick here? So, what happened to your awareness? What happened to your de-escalation tactics? What happened to, your pre-contact skills, intention to action, fear management, all that stuff? To get to a level where the guy's going, fuck you, man, and he's got the stick and he's got the knife and I've got the stick, right? So, if we're just gonna, you can get rid of the stick and the knife and the helmet for now. If we look, we go back. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a drill, tool and target development drill. Back to tool and target development drill, where, let's say, Sam will have the knife. What's your here, Sam? This is Sam. Okay. So Sam's got the knife. Nick, come here a second. Nick's got the stick. And this could be taken from many different positions and situations. We were doing it earlier where I just stood with this. Are you okay, man?
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah. We were just doing it before with I had the stick and he had nothing, where he has the knife, where he's just doing this, and you're slowly now going, well, what can I do from here? Crack. 1. Crack. 2. Right? He rushes in on me, and I go, boom. I try to intercept it with a stick. He grabs the stick. So I go, okay, what would I do here? So we'll shift around for camera angle. And I'm over here and I go, damn it. I'll go, I'll pop him with an elbow to the head. Boom, just to cause a flinch and to piss him off a little bit. And I'll just ram the palm strike into his ear. I'll trap him, okay? If he's still holding on to the stick, I forget about the stick. It doesn't exist to me. I get into his eyes, right? I grab his hair to piss him off. Now look, he's got the stick, but my hand is here, so I'll use the stick and his hand, crack him in the head with his own hand and stick. You know what I'm saying? You start playing around with it and dissecting it. It doesn't matter if it takes, depending on your level, it doesn't matter if it takes 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour to figure out what your next move is, as long as you properly program it. So if he's come here a second, Sam. If Sam's got the knife and I've got the stick, and we're going, okay, slow speed, right? Just this program, tool and target development. And let's say Sam came in and slashed at my gut, right? So let's do that again. So Sam comes in and slashes at my gut, and I go, holy shit. And he comes in again and he slashes and fuck, and he nicks half my testicle off like he just did now. And I'm going, holy shit, my manhood, right? And then he comes in to do something, I go, cry, I throw the stick, but he flinches. Now he parries the stick. This is reality. Here we're in a position. And I went, holy shit. Okay? So now we freeze there, but what's important is that, don't move, Sam. What's important is that if I release here, you see there's no energy. And this is where fuck-ups start to occur. So what you want to do is you want to go, if this was realistic, even though we're paused and we're isolating, give me energy. So now there's energy, and then if you saw the difference here. So that means if I move, this starts to happen. Okay? So then I go, now what can I do for, because take away the energy, but just stay the way you are. Okay? So now he takes away the energy, so I feel it's more relaxed. It's easy for me to go, well, yeah, I'd hit him here. You know, and I'd do this. But give me the energy again. Okay? All of a sudden now it's like I can't, because there's energy. So I've got to figure out what works under the circumstances of energy, of realistic energy coming towards me. So we're stuck here. So I go, well, what can I do from here? Right? So if we turn a bit here, and I'm doing this, if I was stuck in this situation, what would I do? I can't use my stick because he's got, you know, he might have grabbed it. Even if he didn't, he's got a tactile sense on it. If I start to do this, he'll step in and jam. Okay? I can't use this arm because if I try, this is the arm that's stopping the knife from entering my body. So I can't do anything here. Knees, forget it. Give me the energy. Okay? There's no way with the energy that I'm throwing any kind of knee here. It's just not going to happen. But take away the energy, and yeah, I could be super fucking martial artist. I can do this. You know, I could do this. I could do a lot of things. Okay? But give me energy, and now all of a sudden it's like, whoa! Well, look at that. That worked. Caused the flinch. Now, because the energy dissipated, he went, what the fuck? The guy just spat in my face? Obviously, contrary to the moronic views that are occurring today in the martial arts industry, spitting and biting works, folks. But for some reason, these idiots out there think that I'm going to do this. Oh, hey, the fight's over. Lucky me. You know? Or they think I'm just going to fucking spit in the guy's face and go, and think that it's freaking acid and burn him to death. No, all I want is that. I want him to go, right? So if I'm here and I go, and he does this, bam, now I'm doing this, now I can jam him with the stick, you know, I pull his knife out of his hand and I go, crack, you know. Now I can do this stuff because I'm creating a flinch. That's all it is. Ladies and gentlemen, is that the pinching and the biting and the spitting, one, are solely used to create a fraction of a second of a window of opportunity for you to follow up with heavier artillery in order to finish the fight. That's it. That's all. And no one said that biting ends a fight. And yes, anyone can do it. However, if you do not program it, if you do not include it in your training, if you do not simulate it, you will not think of it. It's that freaking simple. If I'm always training arm bars and guards and takedowns and and so on and so forth, which are all very crucial aspects of your arsenal that you should incorporate in your training, but if that's all I do, that's all I'm going to be prone to do. Muscular memory. How you train is how you'll fight. It's that simple. And if you don't incorporate it, you're not going to do it. So, but if I do incorporate it, then my brain will tap into those files because it's been there and done that. Okay? So all I'm looking for is to create a window of opportunity with the spitting, the biting, the pinching, and the little things that will allow my heavier artillery to come out. So if I was here and I'm doing this, I'm not going to even without the stick, I'm not going to go for a double leg takedown here because I will freaking die. I'm not going to go for a choke or a guillotine. I'm not going to pull him into my guard. He's got a knife right over here. Okay? And a lot of people don't fundamentally understand the damage that a knife can do. It's unbelievable. So what I want to do here is tap into other tools that I have access to, because give me energy again. There's no way I'm getting into an arm bar, an arm lock, or a takedown, or trying to do something like this. He just switched hands and slit my throat. It's not happening. Okay? So if I end up here and I don't have the stick, yes, I will fucking go and then bite him, just get into his eyes now and go fucking go cannibal on the guy and just take him apart, because the level of trauma and the savagery behind such an attack is also psychologically disheartening, demotivating, right? Because he's expecting things like this and like this, like this, and getting into this kind of stuff, and whatever. So I don't want to give him things that he's expecting, that his body has, or his mind, or whatever has been exposed to before. I'm going to offer him a whole new level of rage, a whole new level of savagery, right? what's going to hurt more, an arm bar, or if I tear his freaking ear off, I chew on it, I spit in his face, and then I'm exaggerating, but to give you an idea of the level of force you want to go into here. Okay? So we come back to here, and what we've got is, Nick, come here a second. You don't need the helmet. We got Nick, who's got the stick, and Sam's got the blade. Okay, and we're going to look at it from the perspective again of let's move a little forward of tool and target development. Slow motion, guys. Nick is just trying to figure out what he can do, but I need you to react realistically, and I also need you to react offensively if you feel that that wouldn't be damaging enough. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so it's just a matter of move by move. I'm gonna intercept at every point to make sure the energy stays real. Okay, so let's give it a shot now. They're at this distance. For whatever reason, it happened that he got a stick and he got a knife, and Nick is the good guy and Sam is the bad guy. Okay, so now when I say go, I want both of you to start moving at medium speed. Okay, offensively or defensively or whatever you would do now. Okay, so you end up right over here, and I want you to both start to move when I say go at medium speed. Ready? Go. Okay, so that's a little faster than medium speed, but what the fuck? All right, let's just stay where you are. Let's continue with this. Just slow it down more. Okay, so we're just tool and target developing right now, folks. Okay, go. Slower. That would have cracked him in the head. That would have probably cracked him in the head too. Now let's just freeze a second here. Let's say he cracked you right here. Boom. Right? What would be your reaction? So you'd probably be doing a bit more than that. Both hands would probably come up to your head and probably be holding it this way. Right? Maybe you would. Maybe let's assume you're really tough, but you're not the Terminator either. Okay? So your hands do this. So he's protecting his face now. Nick follows through with, crack, nails him in the leg, steps in, freeze. Okay? Nick is using the stick to jam both his arms and the knife. So turn around this way a bit, so we can see what's going on. All right? Next, go. Okay? Pulls him up, freeze. Okay? So now he pulls him up like so. What's really also good about this, what Nick is doing right now also, is that if this was, let's say, a multiple attacker situation. Lee, come here. Let's say this was a multiple attacker situation and Lee was Sam's friend. Nick is also using Sam as a shield, which is technically a good thing, because if Lee wanted to start moving in towards Nick now, Nick would be using this as a shield, using his leg work and so on and so forth, and whatever other tools to keep him away. And there goes the women's bathroom door yet again. Okay? Let's try not to break the entire screen.
Can you shut it?
What?
Shut it?
No. It's just not happening, Helen. So, anyway, you just... It's like an onion, folks. There's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of stuff that you can add and do and so on and so forth. This is just a moment in time that we froze. Let's take it back again from a different perspective this time. Let's say Nick has the stick, Sam has the knife, and for whatever reason they ended up in a clinch, right? So they ended up clinched here. And Nick is trying to maintain a grip of the knife, because at this point, yes, there is a philosophy out there that says attack, 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 attack. But right here, that's a little difficult to do because of, again, energy. So you have to maintain this, because if he's doing anything else with this arm, this thing is entering his body, unfortunately. That's the reality of it. So over here, if I was to say go, medium speed, guys, tool and target development, you understand what that is? Yeah. Slow, okay? So here, but guys, give the energy now. Okay, so freeze, good. So now there's real energy. Now you can see it. You can see the tension in their legs and their bodies and their faces, so on and so forth. You can see the knife moving, vibrating from the energy. So now you figure out, what can I do from here? Nick, what would you do? Which, I didn't see.
The butt of the stick would be right.
Did you feel that, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's happening here is twist. So Nick used the butt of the stick and just jammed it right into Sam's arm. Okay, Sam, you felt that. This is also important to break down and analyze, folks, is that you ask your training partner, does that hurt? Would this work? Because this is how you figure stuff out. You know, this might not have worked. He might have said, well, you know what? No, I don't really feel that. Did you feel that? Yes. Would that work? Yes. So yes, it's working. It's very important to analyze, break down, ask questions, folks. Don't just assume your shit works. Ask your partner if it works. Apply it with half the degree of force and pressure that you would in a real situation. If it works then imagine if it was full out. Okay? Next, what would you do?
Me?
Yeah.
Maybe try to pop here or give him a shot. That wouldn't work.
No, that wouldn't work.
Okay.
Not enough, too much energy on Sam's part. Go back down, let's try that again. Okay? Trial and error. How about biting? That's it.
Right.
So now again, watch how biting works. Let's say you bit him, bite him. Okay? Now look at the reaction that we just got from Sam, because that was a semi-real bite. He didn't draw blood, but he did it enough to get him to flinch and drop a little bit. Now, what can you do, Nick? No, that wouldn't work. You don't have the leverage. How about you just, yeah, there you go. Now look at the pressure he's putting on his arm. Okay? Tool and target development. So guys, same position, just turn around, face the camera. Sam, face over there.
What?
Face over there. No. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So Nick had him in this position here, and he's digging the stick into his arm and applying pressure on his back. Basic tool and target. Sam, what can you do here?
Can you just turn a little bit towards me?
Try to slash, but
Turn this way a little more.
can't really.
Perfect.
Okay. Sorry?
I might try to slash it, but I don't think I can reach.
No, but also Nick applied pressure on his arm and on his neck. You feel that?
Well, I feel it on my arm.
Yeah. Okay. So there's not much you can do.
No.
So, it doesn't necessarily have to stop here. You can either continue from here or start over from a different position and just start to flow. Okay. So let's look at it from. Let's take a break. You guys can break lead. Come here. Let me beat the shit out of you for a minute. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Why not? Okay. So now we're going to initiate lead. Okay. So is there anything important in that pocket? No. Good. Okay, so it's just because you've been sitting for a while. Get the blood going. So you just again start playing around with the stuff and try to see what you can do from close quarter range and get a feel for stuff. Okay, so let's say come in with something. Okay, so we end up here and I end up jamming the arm with the stick and my body. Okay, give me real energy. Okay, so now I trap the arm over here. Now let's turn around so they can see what's going on. Now my stick right now is pretty much useless as far as a striking tool, okay? But this is where we ended up, okay? This is how I ended up. Now what can I do from here? You feel that? Yeah. Okay. So I really bit him there. Okay. Now what else can I do from here? Can I use the stick to just jam the knife down and trap him? Yes, we end up on the ground. Not a good position for me, but I'm already on one knee. Now, if my elbow's really close to his face, and I got a good tactile sense here, so if I pop him in the face here with my elbow, and I keep a stick on him, okay? I still have the stick. Can I use it from here? Yes, my weight is falling over. Give me energy, okay? If he pulls away, I'm fucked. So I'm gonna fall down here, but I gotta stick to my opponent, okay? Again, this is real. I didn't, we ended up here. Okay, so I'm not letting go of this knife, and I'm applying pressure now onto his face with my forearm. The beauty of it is now we turn towards the camera, okay, is that this is where the stick comes in. Because I got the butt right on his jaw here, I know that if I dig this here, see what's happening to me? That really hurts, right? Now I've also got a knee on his head over here. Can you catch that? No? Turn around. Okay. Basic tool and target development. I dug this into his face and into his jaw. Pressured his face, boom, I've got the knee right here, okay? I can use my shin also to crush onto his head, or to piss him off, I still got the stick that I can apply, dig into his throat, you feel that? Yeah. Okay, and dig here, okay? I've got a side of his ribs over here that I know that if I go, this is gonna cause him to flinch, right? Now again, I crush his face with the stick, okay? Doesn't necessarily always have to be this, right? So I'm crushing, I'm digging that shit into him, right? But I need to get up on my feet as soon as I can. So I'll hammer a knee into his back, make sure that I keep him pinned, that he's not using that knife. Take the stick, maybe now I can go crack him in the head with it and just slam it down, hit him in the ear one time, okay? Maybe even use it to get up, right? And then I'm up, pull the stick back in case he decides to come up and do something. Now I'm crack him again, and I'm up, okay? Wow, you're already bleeding. Yeah, from the forehead. Damn, man. Beat Mark Liddell. Beat his record. So, you're just playing around with this stuff. Next, you try to figure out stick against multiples. Okay? Because this is another situation. If it was a one-on-one situation, stick against an unarmed man, well, you've got a high advantage. Okay? 2, stick against knife. 3, stick against 2 unarmed men. So let's give that a shot. You guys come up here. Get your helmets on. What happened here? Okay, so now, let's say Nick has the stick. You guys put gloves on. Let's also shorten the environment. Actually, very simple. Work between this tape here and this tape over here. So,
These still over here?
no, that one and that one, the 2 wider ones. This one you can play around with. Okay. So you got 2 guys facing off 1 guy. He managed to rip an antenna off a car, or find a stick on the floor, or whatever. Okay. He's trying to keep them away. Again. We're talking about the motivation thing. The more he stings them with the stick, the less motivated they're going to be to move in on him. And that's ideally what you want to do. Because once you've created enough distance, if you can, you escape the situation. Evade and escape, run, get the hell out of there. If you can't, you got to finish it. You create your circumstances with your scenario. You know your own lives, where you live, environmentally speaking, what's going on with your surroundings, and so on and so forth. So you accommodate the scenario to fit your general needs as to where you're from and your lifestyle, and so on and so forth. Okay, it's also important to think about that and to look at everything from A to Z and not just look at it from 2 against 1. But for now, it's just the drill. Again, like I said, we're isolating. Okay, so he's got the stick. We got the 2 guys. These guys are pissed off. They just want to beat the shit out of him. He's using the stick against them. Guys, what I need you to do, though, is react to the strikes. Okay? I will step away and see what happens. When I say go, you start. You guys could fucking rush them. You can pound the shit on them, right? And remember, you cannot emotionally link yourself to the stick too much. You lose it, it doesn't exist anymore. It's over. You don't look at it. You don't assess it. You forget about it. It dropped. It's finished. Finish off your opponents. That's your goal. Your goal is not to stick fight. You have a stick, you use it, you fight with the stick. Go! That's a smashed hand and a crack to the face. That's a smash to the hand. Watch this. There's hardly any motivation to rush him now. It's like it changes things. Whoa! Stick drop. That's it. Now he's got to fight.
Sam, get up.
Shredding mode. Multiple attackers. Nice. Beautiful. Right. That was excellent work. That was absolutely excellent work. dropped the stick.
Lost it.
It took a fraction of a second for him to realize. He just immediately went, oh, okay, we're in a fight. He didn't, how do you stop to bend over to pick it up, to assess it? These guys rushed him immediately. You guys were like flies on shit, not to insult any of you. But, you understand? It was like right away, they swarmed him, and Nick went directly into shredder mode. Now, imagine any other kind of range here. Could you have grappled here?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who think we don't grapple, we grapple extensively. We incorporate Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu into our arsenal. We incorporate catch-as-catch-can into our arsenal. I studied Grappling Arts Academy for a number of years and got certified. And it's, I've worked with Ian Hodgkinson, professional wrestler, who's done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Sambo, and catch-as-catch-can. So it is in our arsenal. We just find that it's not the end-all and be-all. It is not what will get you out of a situation like the one we just described. And you saw, very important here, you guys came at him, real speed, real energy. Your goal was to fuck him up, right? You didn't pull your shots. You're not trying to make Nick look good, right? Never do that. You do that, you rob your partner of realistic training. It's the worst thing you can do is try to make your partner look good. You do not do that. There is no consent. Go in full force, you try to take the guy out hard and fast. Now he's whacking him with the stick, and that took away motivation. Why weren't you rushing him when he had the stick? They couldn't enter the space. It's the dynamics change. But you saw what happened the second he lost that stick is unbelievable. It's just boom, right away. They rushed him with no hesitation, no break. Both of them came at him full force. That's some nice work there. Great stuff, guys. Good stuff.
I was like, for a minute, I was like, fuck. And I said, if I knew if I would have took 1 second to look at this thing, I would have been finished.
Yeah.
Because for a minute I was tempted to
pick it up,
to fake and try to get it, and I said, too fast.
Too fast. It happens too fast, ladies and gentlemen. It's just bum rush, and the energy when it's real, it changes everything you can do. Okay, let's try it again. Let's switch. Lee, you grab the stick. I saw that you used the low stuff. It works.
Because it confuses them, gives them more to think about.
Yep. Same situation, 2-on-1. You guys use only the space between the tapes. Try not to exit it, okay? Go! Try to circle it. Good work. Watch them. Don't worry about the shit, just keep going. Remember traffic range, Lee. Nice.
No, I'm not motivated.
Yeah, no doubt. You gotta remember, folks, this is with a bit of equipment, too. Yeah, guys, come on, knock them out. And it's on. Drop the stick immediately. He doesn't need it anymore. Okay. Keep going, simulate. Punch to the head, got his stick again. And break. Excellent work again, Lee. Nice stuff. The second they got close, you realized the stick is of no use anymore. So you let it go. Forget about it. You don't need it anymore. And he immediately went into shredder mode. Tore Sam's head off. Again, good stuff. Now again, there's a, as you can see, do you have any welts and stuff? He's got a welt right here, it's a nasty one.
I'm sure my legs. I'm sure my body has
got a welt right here. Okay, can you see that? Okay, now this it's a little insane, and there's a lot of schools out there, a lot of different mindsets. I firmly believe that the less equipment, the better. So all you're really using to protect yourself right now is so that we don't bust anything. First of all, we use a light stick, as I mentioned before. Second of all, these iTech headgears. These are fantastic. They're economical. They last a long, long time. I mean, literally years if you have your own and you don't share it with 50,000 people. Plexiglass designed by iTech again, the foam headgear. You've got jock strap, hopefully, and the gloves, and that's it. And this takes away, again, this adds a lot more realism. One, it allows you to work at real time, real speed. Two, you feel the shots. So therefore, you're not only respecting the tools, but you're also developing an increase in pain threshold. So your pain management skills go up. It's a lot more realistic because you go, oh wow, look at that. Man, what were his words? Now I'm not motivated to go in anymore. So you got to go, well, imagine this was a full stick, okay, and he wasn't wearing a helmet and he wasn't wearing the gloves, right? It actually happened that one of our students, when we were doing a stick fighting class, he was wearing for some reason he was wearing bike gloves. They're the thinnest things, and he got cracked with one of the sticks right on his pinky, and it cracked. His pinky it just bent, and he was out of commission for the rest of the class. And the ice and the whole kit and caboodle. So it just goes to show you that the level of respect you develop for this stuff with the least amount of equipment possible. And I don't necessarily fundamentally believe that you should, my opinion is to go out and spend $1,000 on a suit. Why? Look, man, this is like $130, $50. You got a suit right. The jock strap is like $25. Yeah, like $200. This is Canadian money too. This is like pesos for you, U.S. guys, American. So so it's like you're looking at about like $200, $250, and you got enough stuff to work with. Again, real speed, real time. So you just, again, folks, you got to play around with this stuff and try this stuff out and experience it. What we're going to do now is Sam's going to have the stick, and you guys, one of you is going to have a knife. So now you're going two guys on one. One of them is armed. One of them's got a knife. So you play around with this stuff. Again, get a feel for it. Again, guys, react realistically to the strikes. Just like Nick did.
Beat the green.
Beat the green. For those of you out there in video land, which this has nothing to do with anything we're teaching right now or that I ever taught, but there's this movie out called My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It's based on Nick's family. Okay, let's go. Go! Ouch! Imagine his jaw, please.
You all right?
Yeah, he's good. You can say helmet. Just say beat the guy with the knife. Okay, break. So the break. I think that gives you a really good idea. Now,
There's another one. Is it? I'm sure that I'm nice enough. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's okay. So I told you this.
I love it.
We just have to get it a couple of times.
Yeah, it's like you don't want it
And you
anymore.
don't want it anymore.
You don't want it anymore.
It's like the first time I was like, okay, it's not so bad. Second, it's worth. Third time, it's like, get the fuck up to run outside.
Okay, so we're here. You get this thing. You don't need to go. Revenge, guys.
I gotta go home now.
It's vengeance time. Okay, guys, we're going to shorten the area. Okay, so we'll shorten the area, and we're also going to, we're going to put all the odds against them. 2 knives. So grab the blade here, Sam. Okay, guys, let's please just work between this tape and this tape. Okay? That's it. That's it. Don't break anything. All right? That tape and that tape. That's it. Go! Stay in the tape. React realistically. Beautiful shot to the head. Nice entry. Remember, Nick, hit them? Good. Hits the weapon hand. Nice. Again, hits the weapon hand. Again, hits the weapon hand. Now, if there was no equipment here, those knives would have dropped a long time ago. They would have been forced to switch hands. Beautiful. Nice.
This is fun.
See how he keeps the stick close to his body. That's it. Nice. Now, Nick may have gotten cut on the arm here. But in a knife fight, you got to expect to get cut and accept that you got cut. Watch it. Footwork is crucial here, folks. Footwork is crucial. You cannot do this without proper footwork. Rush him. I feel like you do. Stay within the tape. Stay within the frame. Nice. Break. Excellent work again. There's a lot more stuff you can add. We're going to do one now where you're going to work stick against stick. So you get 2 guys, both the guys have sticks. You got to change the dynamics. It works different ranges and psychological elements as well. You can see that the ranges shift, and it gets you to think, and it gets you to strategize differently than if you're just doing plain old hand-to-hand. This is crucial aspects to your training. It's just like adding grappling. It's just like adding any other tools or ranges. The stick fighting range is very important. But the key is to, in your training, to do what these guys are doing, what we're demonstrating, is to lose that that frame of mind where the weapon is everything. It's nothing but an extension. Okay, folks. So let's try a stick against stick. Okay. So let's give Nick a break because he's beating up the shit. So here you go. Again, you play around with stuff, guys. Let's keep it within this frame. Helen, you might want to back into that frame so you're not inside their area. Let's keep it within the tapes over here. Okay. Go! Tactically, that's not the greatest thing to do, is to block a stick with an arm in that fashion, because that's bone, stick on bone. Comes almost like a duel. Nice. Keep going. Watch the close quarter aspect happen now. Nice knee. Beautiful. Shredding happens. Ground fighting. Sticks are gone. And break, guys. Break. Nice work. Very nice work. Excellent stuff. We can play around with that some more. Challenge yourself. Here we're going to do a different drill. You're going to have one guy lying down on the ground. Come here. Put your helmet on. Put the gloves. This will also challenge your dexterity because you got to pick up a stick really quickly wearing gloves while you're on the ground and it's lying down next to you. Okay? There's various drills you can do to enhance your skills. Lie down on the ground. Okay? Lie down, feet, extend your feet. Put them together, totally relaxed. Hands by your side, totally relaxed. Okay. Lie down on the ground.
Same way.
Yep. No, just feet head towards where his feet are. Closer. Closer. Okay. His feet and hand extended next to your body. On the ground. Put your hands down. That's it. When I say go, do whatever you want. Go! He doesn't have a helmet anymore, so keep simulating. Nick doesn't have a helmet. Beautiful use of the stick. Excellent. He's biting him over here in the back. Again, this is all simulation. Crack. Pushing him down on his neck. You see me shredding now. Break. That's excellent work, guys. Again, some very nice stuff. You okay?
Yeah, fine.
Have a good night's sleep tonight, folks. Stand for me a second. Quickly, this is explained in other tapes briefly, but not as in detail as I'm about to get into it now. The shredder. A lot of questions are being asked about it. It's creating quite a stir in the industry. People are wondering about it. Is it the same as the rapid assault tactics? Is it the same as this? Is it the same as that? From what I know, the shredder seems to be quite a unique tool. It works in all close quarter and grappling situations. What it does is it bypasses your opponent's flinch mechanism. What it does is a barrage of short shots that are traumatic and causes an immediate predator-prey switch to occur. So what occurs here is that it's composed of strikes using your fingers, your palms, your forearms, your elbows, your teeth, your saliva, your head, working anywhere on the body depending on the situation. Now the difference is that every shot is thrown on the half beat, instantaneously. There is no pulling back. It's not just an knee followed by an elbow, followed by an elbow, followed by a palm strike, followed by an elbow. It is, but to a much lesser degree, using the 5 principles of physical retaliation. It completely disorients your opponent and forces them to go into defense mode. So Helen, if you can get us at about here, up, just a quick description of it on the facial area, okay? And it doesn't require, but it's a lot more effective and dynamic if you anchor or trap. And my definition of trapping is simply to capture. Okay? If you look it up in the dictionary, to trap is to capture. Okay? To immobilize, to entrap, to keep, to anchor. It's not, this stuff to me. That I don't do that stuff. I don't personally think it's functional. It is for select few people who've trained it for years and years and perfected it maybe, and maybe they can pull it off, but in general, I wouldn't teach this to a 47-year-old housewife, okay? So, the shredder, if we're in a close quarter situation and I was to strike him, okay, first thing I would do here is stick my thumb in his throat. I would immediately follow that up by a palm strike here. Immediately follow that up by a rake. Immediately follow that up by a palm into the nose. Immediately follow that up by spitting in his face and biting the side of his ear. Here. Immediately followed by an elbow to a hair pull, to a palm strike, to an elbow, to a rake, so and all of a sudden it's this kind of stuff that's occurring at a very rapid pace. So what I'm doing here is causing tremendous trauma. And you can see that even in simulation, with the lightest stuff, it's uncomfortable as hell. It gets the person to want to say, get the fuck off of me, this is horrible. Okay? And at a light, medium speed, like what I'm doing now, it's annoying as hell. And we have something that exemplifies this without actually causing any pain to your opponent. If I was to say, take me down hard and fast. Okay? Now all I'm doing here, you okay? Yeah. I didn't shred him. I simply did a windshield wiper. That's it. I call it the windshield wiper because this is what I did. Don't move, and I know this is going to be uncomfortable and annoying. All I did is when I told him, take me hard, down and fast, was this. Nothing more. Nothing more. I didn't gouge his eyes out. I didn't rip into his nose or fishhook his lips off or tear his ear. I didn't elbow him or disfigure him. I did this. That's it. And that's annoying enough to intercept somebody to take you down hard and fast. And I've done this in seminars. I've done this in classes. I've done this as a demo where I picked completely unknown people to me in the middle of a seminar. I'll pick the biggest, strongest guy, and I'll go, hey man, come over here, I'm just going to demonstrate something, and I'll tell him in realistic fashion, I'll say, take me down as hard and as fast as you can. And he'll look at me and go, what? I go, you heard me, man. I want you to pick me up, fucking ram me to the ground as hard and as fast as you can. And he goes, are you serious? I said, yeah. So the second he starts to come in, all I do is I get my hand in his face immediately. That's all I do. My hand goes right directly to the guy's face. And even if it's down here, okay, where he goes for a single leg takedown, just like Sam did, my hand goes right here, and all I do is that windshield wipe. Nothing more. And never has anyone ever been able to take me down because that intercepted them right away. So you can imagine if it was real, and rather than just simply windshield wiping, I would gouge the eyes, tear the ear, followed by an elbow and a rake, and an elbow and a rake, and a guy from the throat striking, pushing into the throat, and mauling and tearing. And this is what the shredder looks like at a very medium pace. I'm also manipulating the neck and the eyes. But what I'm doing here, if I go slow-mo, is I'm tearing, and I'm gouging, and I'm ripping, and I'm tearing, and I'm elbowing, and I'm spitting, and I'm biting, and I'm clawing. It is such a traumatic, savage retaliation that that you can see just in a simple demo what it does to Sam, right? And it's just a phenomenal tool. And it could be used anywhere on the human body. If you go into wide angle, Helen, and if we were on the ground, like hit the floor for a second, Sam, okay? If we were on the ground and Sam had me in a guard, and he's trying to, he's trying to do whatever, okay? If I from here, let's say you grab my arm, Sam, okay, and keep my neck down, okay, like you wanted to start punching me in the face or doing, the heel stuff. So if I'm, doing this kind of stuff when we're grappling, if I turn around and I bite him, now I've heard a lot of people talk shit about, hey, if you bite me, I'll pound you and I'll ground and pound you and I'll kill you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I believe that. If I just go, yeah, you'll kill me, no doubt. Hats off, buddy. You'll massacre me. But you know what? If I'm here and he's trying to, lock me up and or we're just grappling, if I go, fucking whip into into his eyeballs. You see what I'm saying? You look at the savagery of this. There's not. Are you okay? Yeah. There's no time to ground and pound me. So all I'm doing here is I'm going animal on the guy. And when I bite here, I'm gonna. If I'm going through your clothing, I'm going to make my teeth mute. Okay? And then when I'm done doing that, because I know you're going to flinch and you're going to go, what the fuck is going on? This guy's a savage. You're not going to punch my face in right now. Especially not if my hand travels and I stick my thumb. Now watch. Toughen your neck up. Don't let me do this. Look at his reaction. Okay? This is not comfortable. And I'm not even digging that deep. So you can imagine if I go really deep into here, and then I slam and I rip and I just dig this and I claw deep in. Now let's say he grabs my arm and he wants to go arm bar. Okay? If he has the sense of spirit to arm bar me from here, arm bar. Okay? Okay, let's say your leg comes over my head. Okay? And he's trying to do this thing with my hand, keep my hand on your face. And he's trying to do this kind of thing, okay? If I'm here, first of all, and I'm clawing into his eye, my body weight is not going to allow him to do that because I will be coming up on him here as I'm doing all of this stuff. It's not enough to just bite and rake. I'm not just going, I'm fucking not having sex with him for crying out loud. I'm trying to rip his fucking head off. Okay? So you got to look at it from the perspective of the shredder is a nuclear tool. Plain and simple, it's a nuclear tool. It could be used very passively, as I did in the demo. You can go from windshield wiping to the animal savagery that I just demonstrated when I was ramming his head into the floor and just going nuts on him. And everything in between, folks. So that just give you an idea of how this stuff works. So when you see the guys with the helmets, it's kind of hard to be able to tell what they're doing, especially when the gloves are on. But when they're working around that area and they're doing this stuff, they're actually simulating shredding, which is taking away parts of the facial area, the ears, and it also incorporates neck cranking. So as I'm taking and I'm doing this stuff here, I'm also cracking necks and doing this stuff. But once I'm here, I don't stop. Right? I'll bite and crush the throat and rip the eyes, right? And then I'll go, look at where my hand is. I'm going to palm strike him with this hand right here, but I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to release from here. If I go light, just this, I know is annoying. But if I go wham and I blast through and I get into a choke and I crack the neck, you can see the potential devastation. Are you okay, dude? Yeah. I know I'm mangling you and I'm really sorry. You buy me a coffee after. Just playing. But you know what I'm saying? So just to give you an idea of what happens when they're doing the stick stuff and all of a sudden it's like wham and they appear and the sticks drop and then you see the guys doing this kind of shit. Rather, okay? Because if you look at it from a logical perspective, from a tactical point of view, if you follow the concept of economy of motion, non-telegraphic movement, right? Closest weapon, closest target. If I'm here, what is tactically more logical to do? Grabbing his ear and ripping it off and sticking my thumb into his eyes and tearing his face off? How much energy does that take compared to trying to do a takedown? Compared to shooting it low and going for a single or a double leg takedown? I mean, 1 + 1 is 2, not 8. Right? So it's, I just look at it and go, well, wait a minute. This is logic, right? Let's give that another go, guys. Let's go stick again. So let's have, who just went? You two? You two? So one of you come up with Sam. Sam, put your face back together. No, one of you come up. Oh, you went up with Sam. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, stick fight. Same idea, guys. If it clinches, you forget the sticks. If you can use the stick, you use the stick. Do what you can. Just play around with the stuff. Now, hold on a second. Watch what happens. Actually, Lee, can you go in the room over there and just get me one of the guns, please. Thanks. Nick, can you hold on to this, the next drill? Okay. Okay, now, same thing, stick against stick. Close gets close quarter, gets close quarter. If you can, guys, if you lose the sticks and it gets close quarter, try to release the gloves as soon as you can if possible. Okay, so, go!
Rich?
Surprise. Keep it going, guys. And break. Surprise. This is yet another element, folks, that you can toss into your training, and this is something we do very, very often. Is that a lot of the times we'll sneak a knife into somebody, and you can also see how this changes the dynamics. Lee had no clue. I sent them to the room just as a decoy for the gun. I don't really need the gun because I wanted to conceal a knife on Sam, and so we did. And so what happened is now the knife comes out at close quarter range, and you also have to deal with that probability, because the two safest things you can assume in a street fight is that your opponent is armed and that he's got friends. Because if that happens, then you won't be caught off guard. So that is about the only two safe things you can ever assume in an actual fight. So I hope you enjoyed the tape. Again, it's a lot of drills, a lot of stuff to think about. Just take the stuff and run with it, folks. Be creative. Add your own elements to it. Play around. Add more components. Shorten the area. Do it in an elevator. You know what I'm saying? Add a knife. Don't add a knife. Play around with the stuff. Be creative. Enhance your arsenal. Enhance your tools. Work your strategies. Work your speed. Work your conditioning. All that stuff is crucial. If you need any information, please visit us online at www.Rich.Senshido.Dimitri. And feel free to come on our online forum and join the community. There's a lot of great people there, and incredible discussions occur. It's an amazing learning tool for myself as well. So we hope you enjoyed the tape, and that's it. That's all, folks. And a big round of applause for the guys who took a beating and a half. Nick, come here, put on a show for the world. Here we got, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Folks, these guys are just, my students. They're like my friends, and they're like my family. And without them, I couldn't do what I'm doing today. And also, Helen, come here.
No.
Helen, come here.
I don't want to.
A big round of thanks for Helen, our camera lady. All right, get out of here. Okay? Do you guys want to add anything to this? Is there anything you want to say? Is there anything you want to mention regarding the training, the tape, anything at all?
Was completed.
Sorry?
It was completed.
It was good? Okay. When we come up with newer stuff and more information, well, there'll be another tape. So, sayonara.